Self-pres is very necessary in relationships too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's very necessary in like the attraction dance.
I mean, one thing you can say in general is each of the instincts has a love language.
Totally.
With
Yeah.
self-pres, the language is, providing things and for well-being and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally.
Care and romance and partnership and love, like knowing that different types interpret those things or prioritize those things differently is like where the Enneagram becomes like something more than just unpacking the Enneagram itself. You know what I'm saying?
The big hormone Enneagram.
I'm John Lekovich, 415, sexual self-pres, 458 Trifix.
I'm David Gray, self-pres sexual, 9 with 1 wing, 974 Trifix.
What up, it's Emeka. I'm an 8-wing 7, sexual self-pres with 854 fixes.
Hi, I'm Nancy. I'm a 3-wing 4, self-pres social, 369 Trifix.
Hi, I'm Alexandra. I'm a social self-preservation 9-wing 1, 963 Trifix.
If you like or hate us, make sure you go like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and make sure you leave us a review.
In this episode, we just got right into things. So we didn't do any plugs. So I'm doing the plugs for everyone now. First thing I want to plug that is a little different than the usual spiel is Josh and I just completed our first offering for the Enneagram School, which you can find at theenneagramschool.com. We completed our first course, which is based on that model of the developmental view of centers that we did an episode about a couple months ago, and really applied that model to the types in a way that deeply clarifies and opens up a lot of understanding on what the types are, how they operate, and really find psychological distinctions that were new, totally new. So it feels like a kind of it's drawing on all the object relation stuff we've been doing, and it goes even further by looking particularly at the object of object relations, like, instead of the affects as much, looking at the objects. And so we started with 4 classes, and we realized we had so much material that we extended it to 2 more. So there's 6 classes in total. And so you can buy the recordings for $150 on our website. And moreover, with the 6th and final class, we looked at Trifix from the point of view of this model and what your fixes are doing in relation to your main type. It was really illuminating. People really got stuff. People's feedback since, and the notes they've shared and the things that they're coming to understand, and how identity functions in relation to holding environment in the body, how thoughts in your worldview, your mental center operate in relation to your identity fix and your body fix. So check that out. I appreciate everybody who's bought my book. If you have bought my book and you've liked it, or if you hated it, please write a review. I don't do any advertising except for this podcast. So having a good review means a lot for me in terms of just people buying my book. Alexandra Arroyo Acevedo has a new website, SaturnRuled9, as in number 9.com, where you can hit her up for astrology readings and further content in the future. Dark Arts Academy that you can find on Enneagrammer.com. The 3 most handsome boys in the Enneagram, Emeka, David, and Joseph, are applying the insights and understandings of the Enneagram, especially those that we talk about here, to real life exemplars, usually videos of public figures, and trying to show typed people, but in so doing, showing how all these abstract concepts show up in actual people. It's funny, it's interesting. It is $19 a month for a lot of content, and there are, I guess, like discounts and typings and stuff like that you can get via that. And finally, Mr. David Gray has a Trifix booklet that I did the introduction for. It is in the David Gray style of the Enneagram. It's very, it's based in images and graphics, and gives you a kind of archetypal intuitive impression of what the instincts, or excuse me, what the trifix feels like, what its qualities, mythological figures, and images that it resonates with. It has evocative terms, and it's very useful for seeing stems and fixes. And, so for example, one of the things I think is really useful about it is if you are trying to understand some aspect of your trifix, let's say you're trying to decide if you have a 2-fix or a 4-fix, and you know what your other fixes are. Could be like, all right, I'm a 6, but I don't know my heart fix. Okay, what is the 6 to 2 stem? What is the 6 to 4 stem? What is the 4 to 5 stem? And I can kind of isolate the feels, the vibes of each of the fixes that way. So check it out. Anysight.com and Enneagrammer.com. You can buy those. Early on in our relationship, there was a day when, like, because I would go to her place for like a week, or 2 weeks at a time because of flights and stuff like this. And there was a day when she just was like, couldn't do anything anymore. And she was like, I'm going to 9 out really hard. And she gave me some kind of warning. And she was in bed and like melting, had no muscle tension whatsoever in her body.
Yeah, it was like this.
Yeah, but I mean, it was even more melty, and it was like watching a show and eating bagel bites and like absolute comfy zone. And she was being like, "Is this okay? Is this okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's fine," but it kept expecting me not to be okay with her being at 9. And now, I think we talked about it last time, but like, I'm maybe somewhere else we talked about it, but I'm a 9 enabler. I'm like, oh, you cozy, here's another blankie, and here's some tea for you.
Alexander, has that been a thing where you had past partners that had problems with you just sort of vegging out?
All of them.
Damn,
all of them.
really?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's weird.
How dare
all
they?
of them. And it started with my parents. Like over the summers when there was nothing to do and I was like too young to have a job, they would just write arbitrary lists of things to do because they could not handle the idea of my sister and I just like being on break.
Oh.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, it started right from the get-go. And it's bigger than just like having a one wing that has like a judgment around the 9 chill thing. It's been from the jump. I've had a lot of guilt and expectation to not be 9-ish.
See, this is what happens when you date 7s. It's on you. You did it to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, that 7 was really triggered him. Like it really bothered him. So yeah, now I'm in a 9 enabling zone and I'm going to become a toxic sloth.
Alexandra's essence is cozy. Her body is soft. Her hair is soft. Her, voice is soft. It's just like this complete softness. It's like, let her be soft, like let her be herself. And, there's things that sometimes I do put pressure on her to get done or to do or something, like the millionth time when she's complaining that she's not moving. And I'm like, maybe you should move, maybe you should go exercise. Then she exercised after 2 months of complaining. And then she's like, wow, I feel so good.
Yeah. I've been working out.
I did that to Brian too.
Yeah, I've been complaining about like energy levels and like bad sleep and stuff for like probably over a year.
Yeah.
And finally this month I've started working out like a couple of times a week and my sleep feels great. I feel hot.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like all of this like I'm just reaping benefits from this and I'm like, John, wow, these are all the benefits I'm reaping, and he's just like holding his tongue as if he hasn't been telling me to do that for the past year.
Or drinking water is another one.
Oh my God. But I didn't think of it, so it doesn't matter.
Drinking water is one, and then what was the one
water.
recently, baby, that you were like, I said something like, it was like your colors you should wear.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I've been saying this shit since the beginning, and you're like, yeah, but I just figured it out.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
consume
it's
last,
like 9.
people.
Yeah.
Double masculine, consume last.
And don't
Oh, is
budge
that
a
it?
9.
Yeah. Yeah, I just well, not just discovered, it's been around for a while, but like the seasonal palettes or whatever that everybody's like contrast and complexion, cool tone, warm tone kind of shit in their face, in their hair, tells them what seasonal color palette would look best and most flattering. And I just came to some conclusions, and John's like, yeah, I've been fucking saying that. I'm like, well, that's nice, but now I know.
I mean, you used to be like, why am I so tired? I'll just drink more coffee. And I was like, you're tired because you're dehydrated. You know, like you're dehydrated. And then
Turning into a raisin.
and then it was like, and then, you know, then you were like, wow, now I just drink a lot of water and all these problems have been solved. And then you'll like stop drinking water for a while. And then I'm like, it's because you're not drinking water. Oh my God.
It's really fun for John. He really
I thought you
enjoys
had
it.
stuff, Prez. What's wrong?
Yeah.
Caring
do.
for our
Yes.
nines.
I'm just,
Just-
you know,
Yeah.
We're just
Just
like-
self-cozy.
I'm just lazy sometimes, you know.
No, that's why I do exercise and all this nutrition stuff and water. It's all for actually mental comfort, you know,
Mhm.
because yeah.
Mhm. I've started lifting, and I can already tell I'm going to be fucking insufferable when I start getting muscles. Just going to nonstop be flexing. Look at my muscles.
Yeah, it's crazy how much of an impact that has. Like, I've already seen like
Oh,
a change
God.
in my body, and with John, I've just already
Yeah.
been annoying, being like, "Wow, no wonder you like me. No wonder da 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 da." All this talking nine bullshit coming out of nowhere, you know.
No,
I
that's
saw-
the other
That's
thing
the
too,
amount
is
of
it
time I
brings-
spend in front of mirrors is ridiculous.
It brings up your testosterone, so you get cocky.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
There was a video I saw on Instagram. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let me know if the sound is playing.
All psychology, all neuroscience. And this is, I think, the most interesting finding of the last decade in all of science. And this is the insight that your muscles are basically an endocrine organ that secrete hormones into your bloodstream that affect every system of your body. Your muscles, they secrete chemicals and proteins when you exercise that are also really good for your brain health. And one of the first papers almost 10 years ago that was published explaining that when you contract your muscles, they literally secrete these proteins into your bloodstream that make you resilient to stress and can protect you from depression. The scientists called them hope molecules. This idea that literally your muscles are manufacturing like antidepressant molecules. And the only way to get them into your bloodstream where they can then travel to your brain is you have to contract your muscles. Like that's it. It's like a pharmacy in your muscles. And anything you do that contracts them, walking, hiking, running, dancing, weightlifting, like swimming, anything, you are going to be dumping hope molecules into your bloodstream that when they get to your brain, they work as an antidepressant and they also help people recover from trauma. Like that's like a miracle. Because of course it's wonderful when medications work for you, but for so many people, medications don't work or they don't do the full job in terms of helping with mental health. And the idea that your muscles could provide you with the equivalent of something like an antidepressant medication, that is, I think it's phenomenal.
Bad news for nines.
You have to
you gotta
move.
contract those muscles.
I don't know. That means if I do, I'll become a hope machine. And all you whiners will have to stop.
No, I thought that was really interesting. I was like, okay, that's motivation enough for me to pick
Yeah,
up
that's really
some
good.
weights for 5 minutes a day or something.
Yeah.
Get some hope molecules in my bloodstream.
Let's give Emeka some hope molecules.
No, I think if I hadn't started weightlifting, I would not exist. You know, like that was
Yeah.
today. Like, you know, in this conversation about like I don't know, dating and stuff like this and attraction and that was going on earlier. You know, we talking about how, like the lack of kind of like initiation for men in like, you know, like lack in all kinds of ways, but like not just becoming a man, but also like how to interact with women in the right
Yeah.
way and all that kind of stuff and how to conduct oneself romantically and whatever and blah, blah, blah. And so like one of the few things that like I feel like my dad did show me was weightlifting. Like
Mhm.
that was like, you know, when I was like 14, like my dad just like basically made me do, you know, get on the bench press and showed me these different things and I like fucking hated it so much. But like I think that's like the thing that saved my confidence in high school was both not just in terms of being attractive, but also like people not like fucking with me, you know,
Mhm.
because I had muscle and you do it enough and you just can't stop doing it. And so like, you know, you guys have seen the fucking big dumb bench press I have in my living room.
Yeah,
Like we have this small apartment, I have these big weights everywhere. So, but it's like
That
that's
I
been so
love.
important. Huh?
I said that I love.
Yeah, that Alexander loves. And Alexander has been like, That's
some inspiration right there.
Looks
Oh, yeah.
tasty.
It has to
it's been-
serve that function or else
Yeah.
I'll have no motivation.
Been a tasty treat for me.
Yeah, it's one of those things like getting like I've noticed after 35, that's when I've noticed the real decline
Oh yeah.
beginning is post 35, and so like working out, exercising is more of an important thing now.
It's
Yeah,
also crazy. This is like dumb 9 realizations, but like it's also so annoying and crazy still how like fast you start to reap the benefit from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like how fast
it's
my
quick.
sleep gets better, how fast, my mood like stabilizes, how fast my body starts to respond. And then it's just this annoying, like now it's come to, because I just sometimes do just like videos that I see on YouTube or just like make shit up. But now it's gotten to a point where like the videos that I've been doing on YouTube don't offer the same kind of like soreness that it did at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so, which is already very cool because it's like, wow, that's already not as hard as it was for me. But now it's also like, fuck, now I have to like level up if I'm going to get that good, good. The incline never fucking ends.
The other day, Alexander was like, John, do you have any resistance bands or something? And I was like, who the fuck is talking to me?
Just
Workout
walked into the
queen.
living room.
Resistance. What a new concept.
It's funny though, because being in the relationship I'm in, not only with a 9, but also together so much, I don't move as much as I used to. Like I used to be like, I used to have all my time alone, and like at night I would like go to a friend's bar and I'd like walk for several miles to get there and
Oh, wow.
walk back and stuff, and
Right.
walk all over the place, and I don't do that. so I've had to like level up in terms of how much I'm working out here.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want a little 9 who just likes to be a little peach pit.
Please, you're also just more relaxed.
That is true.
Woe is John.
He's at peace.
That's stress.
So the couch y'all are seeing is we call it the peach pit because Alexandra is a couch peach and not a couch potato because that's a derogatory term.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
That-
woke term is
that makes
couch
sense.
peach.
No
This
9
is the
slander
peach
here.
pit. Yeah,
No 9 slander.
So like
No,
all
cult
those
of cream.
books, and she's
that's
got
so cute.
she's got her nail stuff on the side of the couch, and it's just
Yeah, over here.
it is like trying to sit down on the couch sometimes, and there's like usually 2 cats on it, and it's just like sometimes it's like so cozy and comfortable I can't even like sit in it, it's just like what, there's so many pillows and
Yeah, this is definitely my like sculpted out territory of the apartment. Anyway, this is now a self-pres podcast.
Yeah.
We will guide you through your nutrition and health and fitness goals. It is
I think
kind of
people would appreciate an episode about that kind of shit, though.
yeah, we
totally.
actually should maybe do like that we should do an my God, what just happened to my brain? We should do an episode on the importance of self-pres.
Yeah.
Not just like the health and nutrition thing, but also like the self-containment, like the boundaried quality, like that kind of stuff. Because I do think that self-pres, I remember seeing once some woman comment, I think she was social or typed as social sexual or something like that she typed self-pres as being non-relational. Which sure, there's some truth to that in the sense that it's not like actively identified with like other or whatever. But that left a bad taste in my mouth because self-pres is very necessary in relationships too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very necessary in like the attraction dance.
Well, and also one thing you can say in general is each of the instincts has a love language.
Totally.
With
Yeah.
self-pres, the language is providing things and for well-being and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
totally.
caring, about that kind of stuff. About the other
Even
person's.
like interests can be like a self-prezi kind of thing where it's like we can ground each other in this sort of common object that we can connect with.
Mhm.
It's like maybe we can do an episode also on like the different attraction, seduction strategies based on the different instincts, what people recognize as sexy depending on their instincts.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, what each one offers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because I see some self-pres slander every now and then. Like self-pres social is seen as like the most normal one, or the most like
basic.
the most basic one. And it's also like, I feel like self-pres social also gets the most, like people are really attracted to self-pres social without realizing that that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because it offers a lot of grounding and a lot of stability, but also a lot of like self-care, like that kind of providing energy that David, you were just talking about. But also like so much of the just like rich deliciousness of life is found in self-pres.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good food.
Yeah, like a nice massage. Who doesn't like that?
What are y'all talking about?
A
You're saying
blanket.
that just talking about good self-pres stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about how social is not going to give you a massage,
I think, a lot, again, I keep drawing on stuff I talk about with coaching, but like people being able to have like, not just have like certain exercises and stuff like this, but even just like their own space for things.
Yeah.
Like for me, a lot of my self-pres energy is around having this fucking cave.
Mm-hmm.
True, yeah.
But like having like a space to like maybe this is sleep last. Would sleep last be not knowing that you need that kind of like restorative alone time kind of thing, or like space to digest or something?
It's not that, because I mean, I exist in the cave, but it's more that sleep last isn't, you can be by yourself and still be sleep last in the sense that you're still taking in new. Sleep is going over the same, and so my version of sleep last is that I do need a lot of alone time, but I don't spend enough time checking in with what my long-term values are. It's more that you're overdoing the opposite to the point where you have too big of a pile of stuff that you haven't processed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so when I need alone time, I feel I end up using my alone time to explore a lot of new things.
Okay.
And so in your case, you use your alone time to maybe explore a lot of the same things, to sort of, going into yourself and placing things and
right, adding a new coat of paint, basically.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So like,
and I'm looking for new paint, new colors all the time.
So what are techniques that somebody who sleep last can actually like apply to go over stuff? Because it was sure that it's that sounds like that's not how I hear what you're saying. That's not how I experience myself doing, but I know from a certain
you're doing it.
The way I'm doing it, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, for example, like a very practical example that I've noticed in you, it's like you have that huge drawing book / diary.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's like a record of,
mm-hmm.
You can go back and look at what you were thinking or feeling when you were drawing this, or you're processing things. And so journaling is one thing that I've had to practice. Is part of it is, okay, you had a bunch of all these things that happened this week. Because I'm forced to do this kind of stuff whenever big things happen, like when my dad died, or like a breakup. Like I'm forced to do sleep processing because there's so many things that you're feeling and thinking that you have to go and check in with yourself and journal and look at your long-term values and things, like slow down and actually think about things and find where things actually land with you. And so what it is as practical steps is stopping the opposite. It's like you're not doing sleep because you're doubling down on the opposite, which is you're taking in new. So it's kind of like on Instagram or any of these social media platforms, you see a video you like, you save it. You see another video you like, you save it. Now you just keep doing that. You could do that with books. My Amazon wish list is a long ass list that's been going back for over a decade. Now at some point you should go over and look at the goddamn list and organize that list and do something with it. Now someone like me who's double activated on play can just keep bringing in new without going back and looking at the stuff that you've actually saved and doing, like, what am I going to do with this video, or what am I going to do? Am I actually going to read this book? Am I going to take notes? Am I going to organize those notes? But you can just keep reading new books. And so you can just do that. You can apply that same concept across the board. Like you just keep, like hooking up with girls and you don't slow down and think about, like, do I like what I'm doing? Do I like the girls that I'm hooking up with? Like, where is this going? Like, you're not looking at the long-term ramifications of what you're doing. You just keep going for new things. And so that's kind of what I've learned to do is scheduling time to go back and look at the things that I've done and sort of evaluate how I feel about things and project out into the future. It's like, am I on a path that I want to be on? Do I feel good about, the long-term things? That's what sleep lasts aren't doing, is they're overvaluing what works now to the point that they're not looking at, does this align with my values long term? And in order to do that, you have to actually check in with yourself.
Because, I remember one time we just had a brief conversation about my drawing pad or something. And I remember you were like responding to that in like a whoa kind of a way.
Yeah.
Like, what do you
like
what are
this
you
is a
doing?
new thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it bedtime now?
I need to get going here.
Yeah. We got enough for an episode. I mean,
I would like that. That was kind of good.
Yeah, I liked it too.
That was super
very
fun.
like a soul
tangential.
intercourse-ish episode.
But also for all my, for my complete lack of social types in the building right now, it's also just like hanging out,
Yeah.
And people
Yeah,
do
this is chatting.
Yeah, people do just like the like free form kind of
it's funny.
bullshit, and that you don't need a reason to like just chat and hang out.
Well, that's the other thing too, is it feels like there should be a reason, I guess, as opposed to just doing social filler and banter.
Yeah, well, that's like, I was in the bathroom for a minute and I was thinking about that. I was like, yeah, we kind of were like, we don't know where we're going to go. And then I started really enjoying our love conversation, and then it bled into other shit. But I was kind of like, a place the Enneagram does need to go is, all right, so you have all this information. How do you take what you've learned from the Enneagram and apply it to different facets of just like life and stuff? Because I know for me, in terms of just like teaching people, gets pretty boring. You know what I mean? To like just be like, here's what we think about this. Here we go. Da 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 da. And so it's much more fun to be like, all right, so we all have, and we all have different perspectives on like love and relationships, and we have the framework of the Enneagram, and we know what attachment is and frustration, rejection, and we know the instincts are. So like, what's something we can say about that no one else can say? Because like I've seen like, I don't know what it was, but there was some other kind of like love or relationship type of advice thing I saw somewhere, and I could see how much it was like unconsciously tailored toward like a sexual blind attachment point of view or something like this. And it was like, and its prescriptions were still not really holding or acknowledging what it would mean to integrate sexual. It was like helpful, but it wasn't like actually transformative because it lacked that framework and that thing of what's even missing from this. Like, all right, so like, I mean, like if you're giving advice to people who have like a sexual blind spot and, attachment point of view, but you're not able to articulate the value of bringing in the sexual instinct and what that would actually mean, you can't really give like transformative advice, right? Like, because you're still leaping over the thing that is absent, that is contributing to whatever problem you're trying to whatever. And so like, and then I don't remember what this advice was, but just for example, maybe I would be like, oh, maybe I'll follow that, but like being social blind, like it wouldn't be helpful because of whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like there's the whole thing, and so to be able to like give a clear map of like, like what we just did earlier of laying out kind of like a map of different, like the difference between like care and romance and partnership and love, and then like knowing that different types interpret those things or prioritize those things differently in the way they do is like where the Enneagram becomes like something more than just unpacking the Enneagram itself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good idea, or that's a good point, because I see that too all over Instagram, and like, a lot of the stuff in the book also was kind of tailored towards sexual blindness, of it kind of discrediting attraction as something that can just, I'd have to like recall it because I remember like kind of actively dismissing it at the time, but there was a kind of sexual blind advocation for a sexual blind approach that you had to kind of discard because that's a very necessary part of a relationship.
Well, a lot of relationship stuff is like, if the attraction isn't there, it'll come, or something, or the passion will come. And
right. Yeah.
And it's like, no, the attraction is there, is not.
Yeah.
You can find connection, you can find
exactly.
devotion, you can find other things, but like if you're not attracted to them, it's not happening.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not
You
happening.
can find things to make the palate like not so nasty or whatever. Like
Yeah. Right.
a real attraction is there. It's not, and that's like
Yeah.
not shallow. That's nature being selective with an intelligence.
Yeah, maybe that's a topic for another day when we do a part 2 of this. But just I think there is like a super passionate, like, oh my God, this attraction and chemistry is out of control. But long term, there's like a baseline of this chemistry is good that I think people might be expecting something super extreme or like something that reflects what they've seen in the movies. So there's kind of like good chemistry is out there, and I think there can be like this overhyped expectation that you're going to be blown away immediately. I mean, that can happen, but to recognize that, I think maybe, I don't know, maybe people just haven't experienced the baseline of what good chemistry is, but good chemistry is out there for most people if they can sense into what that is and not be scared of it when they encounter it, and also not try to embellish it to make it this huge thing that it's not.
Totally. Yeah. And, there's a whole thing too about, and I don't think this just applies to attachment, but of filtering out external representations of what you should be attracted to find your own attraction map.
Yeah,
Yes.
totally.
And, the kind of bodies you like, the kind of energy you like, that's not just like, oh, this is what I've seen in a Hollywood, whatever, magazine, whatever, that like, and I think all of us have, very different, what we're attracted to is very different. And I think people can have a hard time admitting some of those things to themselves. Like some people like bigger bodies, some people like whatever bodies, whatever. And so they can maybe you can find a body that might be like beautiful, but maybe you're not actually attracted to them.
Yeah.
Or or whatever, or you're attracted to them, but you don't find them very beautiful, actually, or something like that. And so it's like that's a whole thing.
That's the chemistry of the personality too. The attraction there, the electricity, the attraction. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, there's a whole thing there that would be interesting, because, I was, somebody recently was like, I need like 6 weeks to know if I'm into a person or if they were sexual blind.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Well, it's not that. That's not the body
I'm
response to
sexual
that
blind,
person.
and that is
Yeah, but
excessive.
exactly. Well, it's like it's like to kind of filter out all the stuff that's coming up and be like, oh, what's the actual thing happening here? Oh, not really. That can be a real challenge, and there's like a lot of people that just like are in a relationship and then they realize like, oh, I'm actually not into them. Like that's a real.
That's
common
fair.
thing.
I've done that.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, I've been involved in hipping people to the fact that they're not actually into their partner at all.
Yeah.
Home wrecker gray.
Yeah.
Home savior.
Good.
Yeah,
save
I mean,
them from bad
yeah.
relationships.
Yeah, that's such a scary concept, especially like the more that I'm.
What's that?
That's me.
Oh. Well, shut up, David.
Pardon. My electrical body.
yeah. Well, yeah, just like, I don't know, the more I wake up to like what attraction is, and the longer I've just been in the space of being able to like see it and recognizing it, or see whatever. Yeah, you can see how many people are not with each other based out of an attraction.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you can see it in other spaces too. You can see it in the other instincts too. Like you can see people that have no ability to offer each other like any kind of security or stability. I don't necessarily mean in a resource way, but even just like an energetic, like you're not fucking steady for someone.
Yeah.
Or people that are like, we're steady for each other, but we fucking do not like each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All of these like broken, imbalanced relationships.
It's just hard to have everything aligned because
It is, yeah.
you can be sexually attracted to somebody that the body that they have is one that your body likes, but then their personality is repulsive to you, and then you could hire.
Don't make a
somebody-
joke, John.
It was like loading in the
him.
chamber.
Yeah, God, I've been able to just it's become a fine-tuned like a fine-tuned
Oh, when the
sensitivity
joke
of
is
like
coming?
yeah, just like dumb John joke loading now. John, stop. And I saw just like the twinkle in his eyes when he started saying that. I'm like, fucking no.
Or like you like somebody's personality, but their like body doesn't do it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult to get all those things to line up.
You can see it sometimes in pictures of couples. There was somebody in the group.
Okay.
I looked at her Instagram with her husband, and I said, "You're not into him." and it was,
Yeah.
and it was true. Just instantly apparent to me. It's like, oh shit. I mean, it was probably because I'm so perceptive that I saw it, but anyway. No.
It feels
Yeah.
like a lot of couples are that's the sort of the default for so many couples that it
Yeah.
doesn't shock me anymore when I see it. It's rare to see couples that are genuinely attracted to each other and enjoy each other's company.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, enjoying each other's company is even a thing. Like
that's
yeah.
yesterday.
Full stop.
Yesterday at the Simon thing, like Simon Emma thing. That's what I saw. I was like, oh, they
like
each
each other.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like
they don't just tolerate each other.
yeah, they're like making space for the other one to come
Yeah.
forward and shine not just for the other's benefit, but for that person's benefit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right.
good one.
That's fun. We
Yeah,
could do
that's
more of
fun.
those.
Yeah, this has been kind of nice just to kind of take a little bit more of like less like agenda driven and more like just seeing what comes up kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
Are you masculine FI, Emeka?
Yes.
Okay.
Am I also? Or
No,
No, you're
you're
feminine.
masculine TE. Your
Right.
FI is feminine.
Yeah, masculine demons.
That's why you turn
seem
into
like
a simp.
that's right.
masculine
Yeah, Emeka never becomes a simp.
deciders.
I mean,
Yeah, for real. But that is funny. How, like a way that masculine FI would maybe come out is that like intense demon swing, like I don't even fucking like this to begin with, da da da, that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. When you were like giving it up in the beginning,
yeah. I mean, I'll go along initially just to see how it goes. Because a lot of times it's like if I really like narrow down into how I really feel about something, 99% of the time
Yeah.
I'm saying no. And so part of the double activated play is like I'll figure it out by just giving it a go. But some things you shouldn't even ever say a little yes to.
Yeah.
But generally I feel like I can try things and get myself out of it because like my boundaries are so
Yeah.
brutal that I can say no at the altar.
God, that's so true. That's so true. Do you, Emeka, take your beloved till
No.
death do us part?
Nah, I'm done.
No.
Get out of my life.
No, and here's why.
Absolutely not.
Give you a breakdown.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say
you-
Oh, man.
to the betrothed. You're dead to me now.
Yes.
That is interesting with you because, like, I kind of, Cancer rising is supposed to be like the direction your life takes and the motivation for kind of like getting out of bed and wanting to participate in life. And Cancer is really about like collecting what is its own, like collecting its like own family almost, and keeping that and nurturing it and whatever. So there is like a part of you that like really actually wants to say yes, a lot.
Well, it's more like, there's kind of a family theme with me, but it's a very, very small
Yeah,
select
that's
few. And I know that, if I run into one person a year that I genuinely like, that's a good year, and so, but there's kind of like maybe give people more of a chance and see where this goes. But deep down, I know that vast majority of people I meet are going to be extremely disappointing. So I've just gotten better, I think, at just knowing that if you get the feeling initially that this isn't going anywhere, it doesn't get better.
Yeah.
Like everyone in my life that I love, it's been great since the beginning. It's always been easy. We had chemistry. It was not to say there's no problems, but like the best relationships in your life weren't ones that you had to work
Yeah.
at. Like, so I'm at the point where I also just know it's not worth it to deal with annoying people. It's like, I'm annoyed because you're not supposed to be in my life.
Yeah.
I have enough great people that I love that are in my life that if you are like a fucking psychic drain on me, you have to be eliminated. Like, you have to go.
Yeah.
You're such an 8, dude. You couldn't say just like cut out or like not want to spend time with them or something like that. No, you have to be eliminated. You have to
Cut
be
off her
fucking
head.
wiped off the fucking face of the earth.
Slice her from existence.
I'm gonna go to bed because I'm actively.
Yeah, I'm
falling
gonna peace
asleep,
out
so.
too.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Good conversation.
Good night.
Yeah.
All right. It was fun to
Good
hang out,
night.
guys.
Good to see you.
Bye.
Bye.